Prospero, the central figure of the Tempest, is one of Shakespeare's most complex and commanding creations. As the deposed Duke of Milan turned powerful sorcerer, Prospero stands at the nexus of authority, knowledge, vengeance, forgiveness, and the ambiguous moral boundaries between control and compassion. His journey drives the narrative and provides the play with its emotional, political, and philosophical core. Through Prospero, Shakespeare examines themes of power, legitimacy, art, magic, colonialism, and the nature of humanity itself. Role in the narrative. From the opening storm to the final act of reconciliation, Prospero acts as the architect of the play's events. The tempest that gives the play its title is not a natural disaster, but an intentional act created through his command of magic and of Ariel, his spirit servant. This initial act places him in the role of a playwright-like figure. He is the orchestrator, the one who stages conflict, illusion, and ultimately resolution. The shipwrecked nobles are brought to the island precisely because Prospero wishes to regain his position and secure a future for his daughter, Miranda. His designs subtly guide every interaction. The reunion of Ferdinand and Miranda is engineered to bring Milan and Naples into political alliance. The exposure of Antonio's treachery is arranged so that Prospero may reclaim his dukedom. The testing of Ferdinand's character helps ensure Miranda's happiness and safety. Prospero's narrative role is therefore not simply that of a participant but of the directing intelligence behind the unfolding drama. Though he controls the events, Prospero is also transformed by them. His journey from vengeance to forgiveness shapes the play's moral arc. Initially consumed by anger toward those who wronged him, he engineers a scenario in which revenge seems possible. Yet he ultimately rejects cruelty and chooses mercy. This progression allows Prospero to move from being a victim of betrayal to an agent of reconciliation, completing his narrative function not only as a ruler but also as a moral center whose choices shape the play's thematic resolution. Symbolic significance. Prospero embodies rightful authority. His rule over Milan was legitimate before Antonio usurped it. Yet his authority on the island is much more complicated. He rules absolutely over Miranda, Ariel, and Caliban, each relationship revealing a different dimension of power. Over Miranda, he is protective but controlling, shaping her knowledge, limiting her experiences, and directing her future. Over Ariel, his power is contractual, based on a promise of future freedom but still deeply hierarchical. Over Caliban, authority becomes more contentious and resembles a colonial master-subject dynamic. Prospero's authority is therefore symbolic of political power in general, a blend of justice, coercion, paternalism, and self-justification. Modern interpretations often view Prospero as a colonial power, especially in his relationship with Caliban. Prospero arrives on an island, takes control, imposes language, punishes disobedience, and claims moral superiority. Caliban, the island's original inhabitant, sees Prospero not as a benevolent teacher but as an enslaver who stole his land. This lens transforms Prospero into an emblem of European imperialism and its moral contradictions, highlighting the tension between self-justified authority and the violence that often accompanies it. Broader implications. Prospero possesses immense magical power, yet the play repeatedly emphasizes the limits and burdens of authority. He can command storms, spirits, and illusions, but he cannot control human emotions completely, undo past betrayals, eliminate suffering, or achieve closure without giving up his magic. His final decision to relinquish his powers underscores the idea that authority, taken to extremes, isolates rather than elevates. His renunciation is not a loss but a liberation from vengeance, dependency on magic, and the emotional weight of ruling. Prospero manipulates nearly every character, often for benevolent outcomes, yet using ethically dubious methods. He tests Miranda and Ferdinand's love by imprisoning Ferdinand. He psychologically pressures Caliban. He threatens Ariel with extended servitude. These actions raise moral questions. Does noble intention justify coercive means? Can manipulation ever be an ethical tool? Is Prospero's forgiveness genuine if it comes only after he has ensured victory? These dilemmas reveal Prospero as neither hero nor villain but a deeply human figure whose pursuit of justice sometimes blurs into authoritarian control. The climax of the play is Prospero's choice to forgive rather than punish those who wronged him. This shift reveals an important thematic message. Authentic restoration requires mercy, not vengeance. By choosing forgiveness, Prospero reclaims his humanity. He models a higher moral reasoning than his enemies. He breaks the cycle of betrayal and retaliation. His decision also liberates him emotionally. Vengeance would trap him in bitterness. Mercy allows him to move on and return to Milan with clarity and peace. Prospero's final actions, giving up his magic, freeing Ariel, forgiving Antonio, and preparing to leave the island, symbolize the necessity of letting go of control, pain, and even identity. He transitions from sorcerer to human, ruler to father, manipulator to reconciler. This transformation broadens the significance of Prospero's character. He becomes a model for maturation, closure, and the acceptance of human limits. Conclusion. Prospero is a commanding and multifaceted character whose presence shapes every dimension of the Tempest. As the orchestrator of the plot, he embodies narrative authority. As a symbol, he reflects Shakespeare's artistic identity, the tensions of colonial power, and the complexities of legitimate rule. His journey from vengeance to forgiveness offers profound insight into themes of morality, leadership, and human vulnerability. Ultimately, Prospero's power is not defined by his magic but by his capacity for growth. His renunciation of control and embrace of mercy transform him from a figure of dominance into one of wisdom. Through Prospero, Shakespeare explores not only the dynamics of power but also the deep human need for reconciliation, redemption, and release.